Hey, Paola, you hear me?
Hi, hi everyone.
Paola, I need the, déjame ver, cuáles son los nombres de los panelists?
You only have three guests right now: Jasmine Briggs, Jesse Henshaw, and Tony Shaw.
Okay, perfect. And they're the ones that'll be presenting on behalf of UMass tonight?
The UMass person believes have has a different last name. Is Miss Banks? Is a
Oh,
lady, Miss Banks.
okay,
So I
perfect.
think these are just guests. And
Okay,
she has her own panelist invite. But if I see that they went in the other way, I'll swing them over.
okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And you guys have a copy of the agenda, right? That I emailed you.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Okay, just
we're
in
go-
case you want to share screen or something.
okay, cool. So what I'll do is I'll wait till approximately, let's say 7:05, 7:10, and give
Okay.
everybody enough time to start coming.
All right, sounds good. Just
Hey
so you guys
everybody.
know, I started, we're live, but I'm not recording yet. So whenever you're ready, Domingo, you just let me know and I'll start recording.
Okay.
You have quorum, by the way.
Oh, the four of us, huh?
Yeah, what is our quorum? How many people we got? It's four, right? Four or five.
Yes, you guys have quorum already.
Oh, okay, cool. I know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm.
We must be a small committee then.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All committees are composed of, like, I believe 11 to 12 members. So quorum is usually anywhere between 5 and 7
Mm.
committees. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. We have public members, which are often, I
They
believe,
count towards quorum.
uh, well, yeah, I believe so, because they're technically, like, I guess, but I know, like, usually the quorum is like from actual, like, board members. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, now we definitely got it. All right.
Yeah. We're still waiting for our presenter, Rafael. Paola, bring Rafael over. He has the Apple Bank.
Gotcha.
Okay. And then we're just waiting for a presenter from UMass. There's going to be a modification to our agenda. So before I ask for the approval of the agenda, we're gonna this final meeting. What we're gonna try to focus on is uh, resources. Like, we try to provide as much information as we can, but now how can we actually bring in actual resources to small businesses and educate ourselves in these resources in order to be able to provide accurate but also guide small businesses towards the, like, uh, directions that could potentially help them. So we have a guest today who will be speaking about that. And so we're going to modify the agenda. As far as the round table goes, we have a partnership round table that I was seeking to do this month, but we're going to table it to next month. We're going to start off the New Year's be with a discussion around partnerships and being able to solidify the work that our partners are doing. We had a strategy put in place for what these few months were going to look like, but things are so forever changing at the moment that it didn't really necessarily make sense for now. Like, we don't have the capacity to reach out to a lot of these businesses directly. So what I would propose is that we actually start bringing in key stakeholders and we build that capacity together. whether it be cloth and their connections with their businesses, but also being able to create a space, a hub where all the community layers, all the key stakeholders that work with small businesses are also involved in a month-to-month basis. Meaning, for instance, a lot of the making sure that we create space for them, you know. And I think that has to do a lot with how do we do that, not only as a committee but as a board, and develop those bridges of communication so that we could further strengthen that relationship. I think we were just rushing it and trying to react. So I thought of it and I was like, we have to take a step back and really see how we're addressing this structurally, as opposed to reacting to what we perceive to be the need, you know. So that's why, so give me 1 second. So I see Lisa Banks. Let me see. Can you introduce yourself, sir?
Oh, you know, that's Blair Duncan, and Lisa Banks signed in for me.
Yeah, right.
So unfortunately, when it popped into my calendar, that's that. But Wayne Benjamin can vouch that I'm actually Blair Duncan. So.
Yes, that is Blair Duncan.
All right. If Wayne vouches, that's enough right there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna modify our agenda. So what we'll do is some the welcoming opening remarks, the approval of agenda, and instead of partnership meeting roundtable, which we'll table it for next month, we're gonna replace it with a UMass presentation on loans for small businesses. And then we're gonna keep our old business, new business announcements and adjournment. And in that time, if anybody wants to raise anything, first of all, and I'll do it during my welcoming. This is our last meeting of the year, a very turbulent year, but I believe we got through very well. We did the best that we could, accomplished as much as we could, and I think we are in a pretty good place. So that's gonna be the agenda. So Nobles, I'm gonna read over it again, right? So we got the welcoming. You got it, right?
Oh, I'm taking minutes.
Oh, it's not you.
No one asked me to. But if I take minutes this time, do I get to name who does it next time in next session?
Oh no, you'll take a year off.
Okay, hold on. Let me fire it up. 1 second, Domingo.
Yeah.
All right. Docs. 1 second. I can just use the template I used the time before last.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty intentionally. This is gonna be a very brief meeting.
No problem. BizDev. And we're recording this, right, Paola?
Yes,
Correct.
we're already
Okay.
recording. Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
And I'm gonna make you a co-host so you can record this session on your own on your side.
Thank you. All right, let's see here. Safety, business development. There we are. I'll just use October 6th version. All right, continue, Domingo. And I'll just catch what you just said from the recording, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's just a modification of the agenda.
Yep.
So with that being said, as part of the remarks, I personally want to thank Tanya for really stepping in on a short notice last month. Had a family emergency arise that I had to address with urgency, and wasn't able to necessarily be as helpful. So thank you, Tanya, for really stepping in and holding it down for the committee.
No, thank you. Thank you. Mhm.
And it's been a very interesting few months. I would say, as you see, there's a lot of uncertainty right now, whether it comes to, is the city going to completely shut down? We hit the 3% threshold. What does that mean? How is that going to impact small businesses? How could we bring in different type of small businesses into the narrative, and not just let restaurants and restaurants not dominate that? How can we better utilize or stretch the resources across the board? So yeah, so I want to personally thank the committee. It's been a hectic year. This pandemic has really pushed us in ways that I personally wouldn't have anticipated, and put us in situations that I wouldn't have thought of. But everybody was flexible enough to really adjust and give it their all, and it really demonstrated their commitment to the community and just towards our neighbors. We did a great job. We were, I believe, the first committee in the city to be able to do the virtual meetings, get resources out. And I, like, personally, I couldn't have done this without you all. So I want to thank you. And as a token, this meeting is going to have just one presentation, and just spend time with your families, and we're going to do a lot of we're going to keep doing great work, but it's like one thing we all learned this year is the importance of not only our neighbors but our families, and I think it's just a good way to end the year. One presentation, and yeah. So with that being said, we have Blair Duncan. He's going to be presenting around small business. Oh no, first of all, I need approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve agenda.
I need a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so that's unanimous.
Yep.
So with that being said, and Blair, I'm gonna ask for you to just be able to provide just a synopsis of UMass, what do you all do, and go right into it.
Sure. Thank you, Domingo. And I want to say thank you to your community board chair, Eli Bueno, who is also a member of the UMass board, and our small business lending subsidiary, Brisk, who's administering this program. Thank you for inviting me. As I mentioned, thank you to Wayne Benjamin for validating that I am who I say I am.
Yeah, that was the reason why I didn't ask for ID, man.
And many of you, have heard of the Upper Manhattan Empowerment Zone. I'm the president and CEO. UMass is an organization that has been operating now for 25 years. This is our 25th year of operation. And it was originally designed as a 10-year designation period. And the reason we've been able to continue our operations is because we've done a lot of prudent lending, and those loan funds have come back and been returned to UMass, which really gives us a position to continue to operate. We 3 years ago became a community development financial institution, which is a treasury designation, which allows us to at least pursue alternative funding. And that's something that we'll be working on going forward. But it puts us in a group of many other lending institutions that are in the community, like the Washington Heights Inwood Development Corporation, like the True Fund, like LISC, and others in that category. So, we are really here. Our catchment area is Upper Manhattan. So think Community Board 9, Community Board 10, Community Board 11, and Community Board 12. That's where the focus of our activity is, and we're really looking here to see how we can help residents, reach their potential. We do that in a few ways by making small business loans, investing in transformative real estate construction projects, funding workforce initiatives, and also making cultural investments. One of the things that I wanted to just kind of talk about is a new program that we have, which is a hybrid micro loan program, really targeted at small businesses. And one interesting thing is that UMES is not an SBA lender, but back when the CARES Act came out, there was a lot of interest in providing funding for small businesses. Just like a lot of people in our communities didn't have information about health issues, small businesses didn't have information about lending opportunities. And we knew that. It took really that first round of CARES Act where the funds were exhausted. And then it was that second round. And what we did was we provided technical assistance to many small businesses and worked with some of the community banks here like Carver Bank and Ponce Bank to provide funding through the Paycheck Protection Program. And in that process, we saw that there were a lot of small businesses that needed help. Traditionally, UMass had not made loans under $50,000. We felt that that was really the microloan spot. And what we did, though, in talking to small businesses, find out, well, you know what, there are a number that really need this type of assistance. So what we did was design a new program targeted at small businesses. I sent a email to you, Domingo, that just has a one-page flyer. You feel free to circulate that. But we're working in Washington Heights with the with WITIC. They are really our community partner to help do the outreach. Our program is automated. It's online, and any applicants can talk with the crew at Washington Heights Inwood Development Corporation to help them sift through what the process is and then to upload information online, and we'll then review it. You know, some of the key features that we think make this loan attractive is that we call it a hybrid micro loan program because it has the elements of a loan, but also the elements of a grant. And by that, what I mean is that if a small business pays the loan for 4 years, they will be able to, and the business stays open, they can then apply for a grant, really a loan to grant conversion. Now, the way that works is that will be about 25% of the loan, original loan balance will be converted to a loan. So just to kind of rather convert it from a loan to a grant. So just to give you an example of something like that, a small business that say took a $10,000 loan, for the first year, the payments would be $25 a month. Second year, those would go up to about $221 through the end of the fourth year. And then they could apply to convert $2,500 from a loan to a grant and get that wiped out, and would have a very small balance of about $100 left over to pay. Now, the way we do this is that we're looking at small businesses that have between $100,000 and $750,000 in top line revenue. And they have to have a physical storefront. There are no virtual businesses. We're looking for employees of 20 people or fewer. And of course, they have to be located in Upper Manhattan. The term of the loan, as I mentioned, is 5 years. I talked about the interest only component, the principal and interest. And then that really attractive piece is to incentivize businesses to stay open for 4 years. We want them to know that they can then, at the end of that fourth year, apply to have the balance of that loan at really 25% converted from a loan into a grant. Now, the way we size these loans is we look at up to $50,000, the lesser of $50,000, or 10% of the top line gross revenue in 2019. So we're trying to go back to see how are they performing pre-COVID to get some expectation of what they're going to do after we get through this recovery phase. And so we want to also give them, that's why we have the interest only, give them that year to ramp up and really pivot to new business conditions, and really look and see how they are going to change the way they do business, if they have to switch to do more online, if they have to buy PPP equipment, if they have to do some of the outdoor modifications, ventilation, use those proceeds to pivot the way they do business, is really what we want the source of these funds to be used for. And we do require anyone who has a 20% or more ownership stake to sign a personal guarantee. We do take a blanket lien on any of the UCC lien on assets. And, these businesses then can use these proceeds for normal working capital activities. Now, there are most businesses are going to be eligible, but franchises we're not funding. Payday loan businesses we're not funding. The normal sin businesses or games of chance we're not funding, and things along those lines. That's really an overview. There may be some questions. I don't know if Domingo, you were able to email. I saw a brief screenshot of the one-page document, but I'm not sure if everyone has had seen that. But
so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it in my screen and I'm gonna pin it there so that folks can see it.
And we're kind of we're excited about. I don't know if others can see it. It's very small to me, but if others can see it, that's great. Idea here is we're partnering in Washington Heights with a community organization who's familiar, has really the boots on the ground. We're in Central Harlem. We're partnering with another organization, and we're working with an organization in East Harlem. We haven't finalized that yet. That's Union Settlement, because they are working on the grant program that the city councilwoman has put in place there. Have had about, we launched the program 2 weeks ago. It's up and accessible on our website. We have had about 5 or 6 applications so far. It looks like right now about 1 to 2 will be going through some of the underwriting process. We're hoping to be able to compress the time of review and funding on these to hopefully in that a response, whether it's a go or no go, short like a week, but then to do the underwriting and complete the loan closing, we would hope that maybe 4 weeks, something like that, is what we're aiming towards. So we believe that this is going to be a program. We're aware and sensitive to the changes here. We launched this to be concurrent. SBS just came out with a program the other day to provide called their low moderate income storefront program to provide really they're going to pay the interest on certain CDFI borrower loans. And so we're part of that program. We have some of our applications in to see if they're going to be able to assume that. But even with the other programs that earlier I mentioned, Columbia has one, True Fund has one, we have one. They're all different. There's more demand than there is supply. Each one has its particulars that businesses need to look at to see which fit. And then we can, through this, find the right source of funds for those businesses. The thing is that we're in the midst of having all of the city regulations changing. I mean, we know we're now at a 10 o'clock shutdown for restaurants. We don't know what's going to happen over the next 30 days. Certainly as we go into the holiday season and into January, February, very tough months. We'll see. I mean, we're all kind of watching, but we time this and we have this interest only component for the first 12 months to kind of account for that period of uncertainty. We're just hopeful that the businesses can make it through the next three months really, which I think are going to be the most difficult, particularly coming off of, the last 9 months of, a lot of challenges. So that's probably a good place to pause. to see if there are any questions. Again, I'm happy to have this opportunity to speak to you guys directly, and we'll continue to do outreach to make this program more aware for small businesses, and I think this is a good start in that direction.
Thank you so much, Duncan. So we're gonna open it up to questions. I'm first gonna start with committee members. Please use the raise hand feature, and then we'll go to the attendees if they have any questions. Duncan, I have a question regarding this is also for nonprofits as well, right? Nonprofit would be considered a business.
You're right. Yes, it is. And most nonprofits, we know there are a lot of nonprofits that employ, residents in Upper Manhattan. It's a vibrant sector. There's certain nonprofits that are excluded, like religious organizations, public or private schools, colleges, universities, social clubs. They would not be eligible, but there's a wide group of nonprofits outside of that group that are eligible. And we look at, since nonprofits don't have, gross income, we look at their operating budget and their tax returns that they file in 2019.
Yeah, and knowing that at the moment, the vulnerability of a lot of these businesses, what's the turnaround time for approval? So let's say they embark in the processing, the underwriters, how long before you see them being able to be able to get those funds?
So we're hoping that by the time that we're looking around we want to shorten it, but right now I'd say it's probably realistically 4 to 6 weeks, but we can tell you if they're not going to qualify, we can let them know that, in a matter of a few days.
Okay. And finally, what's the total number of applications?
So we have provided $2 million for this program. We launched it 2 weeks ago. It will be active until the funds are exhausted or August 31st. And so far we've have about 6 applications, but of those 6, probably 2 look like they might be viable to go forward.
Okay.
So we're in the early stages of this, and we are, going to continue to work with the community partners, really to try to market this program.
Perfect.
Did you say August 31st was the deadline? March?
August 31st, 2021. So it'll be whether the funds are exhausted or August 21st, 2021. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I have Tanya with her hands up.
Yeah, I if you already answered this, I apologize. But what can they not use the money for? Funds for? Are there any restrictions? If you've mentioned this, I apologize. You could just let me know if there are any restrictions in terms of what they can and cannot.
Yeah. So thanks for asking that. And we have, allowable uses would be working capital, inventory, marketing, refitting for new social distancing guidelines. And I'm rattling these things off because I'm reading it actually. And there's a link that I think I also sent to Domingo that has this, but utilities, supplies.
Committee, if you check your emails, you should have the document he's speaking of.
And payroll and any other costs that, are kind of, working capital related. What they cannot be used for, though, is business expansion, construction costs other than those relate to refitting for new social distancing guidelines that allow them to pivot. You can't use them for legal fees, property taxes, can't use them for back rent. Can't use it for refinancing of an existing loan or, other things that we would have to, on a case-by-case, say are ineligible.
Tanya,
did that answer your question?
Oh, yes. Thank you. That's very helpful. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Up next, we have Christina Ritchie's, followed by Nobles.
How you doing, Blair? Nice to meet you. My name is Christina. I'm not sure if you answered this question, but I'm just looking at the interest rate of 3%. Is that a fixed interest rate, or would that change throughout the years or after the term?
We've tried to make it predictable. It's a fixed rate throughout the 5-year term. And also one thing to note is that, we don't have, there's no application fee, no closing fee on this loan. We want to make it accessible.
Nobles?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excuse me. Hello. Can y'all hear me?
Thanks. I wasn't able to
Yeah.
raise my hand as host, so I appreciate it. Thank you for your time, Blair. So my question is in regards to tech startups in the area. I used to have a tech startup myself, and I know that is a really big outlet for younger business owners, coming up in the area. Is there anything that would preclude them from applying to your loan as well, even if it's not brick and mortar, but let's say some kind of direct to consumer, startup?
So good question. So this is designed for storefront businesses to kind of promote the activity on the streets, to keep the streets alive. So virtual businesses we've excluded, and the tech businesses are hard to anchor in any one location. So unless there is a physical presence in Upper Manhattan, that is not a home operated business, we would look to recommend that they try to access other sources of funding. Maybe the Columbia Small Business Development Center, they have a loan fund too, and that might be an alternative. But for this program, you need a physical storefront.
And I just have a quick follow-up question, if you would share. Can I just jump in for a quick follow-up? So then when it comes to, Christina's question before, and, in regards to the one I just asked, what if there is a storefront, let's say one of the retail storefronts on 181st, for instance, that they do a really good job with e-commerce as well, which has been keeping them afloat, but it's tight. Could they use the funds to increase their e-commerce presence and infrastructure as well?
So I think it would be I guess I'd have to look at that on a case-by-case basis. I'm not, if it's a phone store, I'm not sure what you're describing, but
Like a clothes store for sneakers, for instance. Let's just say that for easiness.
Okay, so and they also do e-commerce. They sell. Then I think it's a matter of what the business mix, as long as that allows them to stay active. I think that we would want to look at that, because in the pandemic environment, online sales are really a pivot, and understanding how that's going to help the business makes sense. So if they're going to maintain the retail presence, but they want to invest these funds to allow them to do a greater online pivot presence, and I think that's something we would look at.
Awesome, thanks.
I think that.
Yeah, thanks, Duncan. And as far as marketing, when you talk about community partners, that's something definitely that we would love to help in, understanding the whole trying to bring folks together and how difficult it could be at times, especially during the pandemic. Just consider us one of the thought partners as well. We would love to help out with the marketing, as we are also trying to market a lot of the resources that are coming into the community.
Absolutely.
Anybody else have any questions before I go over to the public?
Francisco did, I believe, right?
He was saying if we heard him, that's all he was saying. All right, so we have Jesse Henshaw. Hey, Jesse, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, what's your question? Hey, Jesse, you hear us? Once, twice. All right, so I guess he's having some technical difficulty. So yeah, so Duncan, I guess we'll stay in communication via email. The committee, everybody has received some of the flyers, the flyer he sent with some of the requirements. Thank you. It looks very thorough. And Hopefully it becomes a president when anybody comes to present some resources straight to the point. And anybody else?
I had a quick question. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Rafael.
It's in regards to, do you guys have a physical location? Does UMass has a physical location or a physical office, or is it just done online?
So UMass has a physical location, yes, 55 West 125th Street. Though for the last 8 months, we've been operating remotely, like most businesses. You know, I happen to be in the office, but my staff is not. If there is any information, you know, you can reach us by email. If you have a question, you can reach me at bduncan@umez.org, and I can refer you to the right person. The physical presence, though, hopefully, you know, maybe in another 6 months, 9 months, who knows, we'll be able to have people come back to the office. But until that time, we're doing everything online. And this application for this program is online. It is kind of a logical order. You answer a series of questions. If they're affirmative questions, you can kind of move through. If at any point your question is, you know, you answer negatively to it, then that means that you didn't meet one of the eligibility criteria, and you would be able to stop at that point, and it'll send you a message to that effect. So this is an automated process during this period of time of COVID.
Yeah. And another thing is, have you been in communication with the other Chamber of Commerce's up here in the Upper Manhattan area?
So we are in contact with the Washington Heights Chamber of Commerce through Eli and Sandra Harris. So yes, and then the community partner is the Washington Heights Inwood Development Corporation.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. So what we'll do is I'll be sending you a follow-up email, and let's strategize to see how we could get as much businesses as possible. See how we could inject some of these funds in there to try to keep them open, and hopefully weather the storm.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you guys for having me. And if there are not any other questions, I'll sign off.
All right.
Thanks, Blair.
Thank
Take
you.
it easy.
Thank you. See you now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
bye now.
you.
All right, team. So as you could see, I kept my promise. This is our last meeting. I want to thank you all. Enjoy the holidays. It's been a turbulent year, like I said when I opened up, but we got here. We're still weathering the storm together. Now what we have to try to do is bring more stakeholders together. We saw Duncan with the resources. Let's see how we could inject this in some of these resources into our community, so we could maintain the vibrance and help some of these small businesses. If you have any questions, any concerns, any thoughts, anything you would like to share, this is the time to do so. Francisco, you're muted.
Hey, wait, is the meeting about to be over? Are you setting it up for that?
Yes, sir.
Wow, it's got to be the shortest meeting of my entire.
You weren't here for the beginning, baby.
We're here for the
That's-
beginning. I know.
You know, I'm always at least. I might come in 10 minutes, but I'm here 3 hours. You know.
Yeah, that's
It's a
what
good
I'm
thing we
saying.
don't mark down late on the minutes, brother.
Hey! Don't start any new ideas. We don't need that. But
It's all good, man.
for next year, I've spoken to Tanya about this, Domingo, and some other folks about how businesses are handling people of color in this community. I actually just got something on Facebook where famous Famiglia Pizzeria
Yeah.
was acting derogatory towards someone that speaks Spanish. I just want to put that out there. But I also, the reason why I'm saying that is because I think next year we should try our best to focus on that and how businesses are treating, you know, the citizens of you know, Inwood and
Patrons.
Yeah, because we, you know, I brought this up sometime in August, I think, or July, but there's so many other things that we got to work on top of this. But next year, I really want us to focus on that, come up with a plan so people can report this, because, you know, obviously is word of it's he said, she said, but if we could develop a system where people can report, there's no same way they report, you know, fireworks and loud noise, and all the other things that are plaguing the Heights. We should focus on that for next year, because something like this shouldn't be tolerated in any way, shape, or form. And we as a committee should be on top of these things, because we're one of the most diverse communities in New York City. And everybody needs to be not just tolerated, but appreciated, and what's the other word? And
welcome.
Welcome. Yes, exactly. So, and that's not the first time we.
I know, Francisco.
Do the same too as well. So I just want us to focus that for next time.
One of the beauties about being able to build relationships with a lot of folks who are putting resources into our community is that maybe there's a series of workshops that might be a pre-requirement to certain resources, you know, and I think having these type of conversations are win-win. I know that, and I don't want to say I'll take personal fault for it, but it seems like, and that's why I had to take a step back. It seems like we were reacting so much to COVID that a lot of the things we were planning was a reaction and not necessarily putting things in place that would eventually grow, you know, and like we've been reacting a lot to COVID. It's been resources. How can we create and understandably so, you know, but at the same time, it's also very important to build in that process as well, because reactions eventually are just going to leave us with what's next, as opposed to be more goal oriented, you know, if you know what I mean. But I agree.
Mr. Chair, could I speak to that too?
One second, because
Daryl Cochran didn't get you on the other members.
Yeah. Juan,
all right.
Juan Guzman had his hand up, and then we're gonna get back to. I got you.
Sure.
Right? Juan Guzman.
Sure. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. All right. I'm not going to be taking too much time, but I just wanted to mention, as Blair mentioned a little bit, the city of New York announced on November 25th the LMI loan program. As some of you guys know, I am the financial account manager for the New York City Business Solutions in 181st Street. And I just want to touch a little bit basics on this loan and how it's going to be targeted itself. So the New York City LMI storefront loan is an interest-free loan up to $100,000 to help storefront businesses located in low to moderate income areas. And this is just so they can continue and to operate like their businesses with the challenges of COVID. The program is being divided in two sections. The first section just opened yesterday, November 30th. So phase one, we are going to target the lowest income zip codes from November 30th through December 14th. And phase two is for moderate income zip codes from December 14th until funds get are exhausted. I will be sending an email with all this information for everybody, but some who can apply, and obviously business who are on the zip codes. And employees, you have to have at least anywhere from 2 to 99 employees in all total of all locations. If you have more than one, you must be operated since January 1st, 2018 or before, be cash flow positive in 2019, and be able to demonstrate the availability to repay, have no personal or business tax liens or legal judgments within the last 3 years, and provide a personal guarantee for all loans. All owners, 20% or more of the business, must co-sign the loan and must have an average personal credit score of 625 or higher. The city of New York have partnered with Pursue. Pursue is the lender. They will be doing as well the underwriting part for the loan itself. So to determine the best, the first step is for the applicant to apply through our website, which is the SBS Connect. Again, I will be giving you guys, we'll be emailing the details of how a client can apply. The Washington High, the northern part of Manhattan, they are on phase 2, as you will see once I send the email. And a little bit of the details of this product is, again, it's up to $100,000. The loan term is 60 months, including no payments for the first 6 months. The interest rate is 0. There's no pre-penalty by paying the loan before. There is a closing fee if it's approved of $300. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that program that's going on right now with the city of New York.
And what's the name of it one more time, Juan?
Sure. It's the New York City LMI storefront loan.
LMI?
Yeah.
Storefront loan.
And
Thank you.
I believe Juan is also part of this committee, by the way. So
He is. Yeah, he is.
So
yes, I'm just very quiet.
Yeah. And we have a pending conversation. I've been moving and dealing with some personal stuff. So, but just know that I'm not even gonna. You're one of the reasons why I pushed it to start off the New Year's with the thought partner meetings, because I thought of like I wouldn't say the disservice, but it would be negligent not to effectively utilize all the resources we have within the board to be able to give all the small businesses all the resources that it's available to them. So rushing it was not the answer. So you will be playing a pivotal role next month. I'm just giving you the heads up. All right.
Got it.
All right.
No worries.
So we have, I believe Daryl wanted something to say, has something to say, and followed by Tanya.
Well, thank you. It was a slow night, so I thought I'd peek in, and I'm glad I did. Because not my normal committee. Good to see you all. Just to go back to Francisco's point, I think most of you know I wear another hat with working for the City Commission on Human Rights. And, that's definitely something we deal with in a variety of ways. We do provide training, so, employers can know what their obligations are under the law as it relates not only to interacting with their employees, but also interacting with their customers. We do provide a number of workshops on race, on gender identity, on a number of different protected classes. So business owners, basically know better. And then, also one of the things that I do, I work in the community relations side. So we can, one of my favorite parts of my job pre-COVID is when things like this happen, we're able to actually go into those businesses, say, look, we heard this happened. This would be great if you could do X, Y, and Z. And sometimes they're receptive, sometimes they're not. If they're not, then maybe we move into the formal complaint with our law enforcement bureau side. But those are some of the things we do. We work with BIDS and other chambers and groups to inform business owners, anywhere we can. So we'd be happy to help.
That's a great addition. Thanks, Daryl.
Yeah, thanks so much, Daryl. So I'll be reaching out to you. So one of the reasons why we're bringing in this thought partner initiative next month is not only to be able to address the need, but also be providing doses of education, if you know what I mean. So it's like, if we could talk to, like, for instance, Duncan and be like, hey, part of your pre-approval rating, could we do these series of workshops to be able to address concerns that might arise around race, identity, so I think that's why it was important to do that. Up next, we have Tanya.
Yeah, I want to say, I think that's definitely something we need to address. I think this committee, as we have a configuration now, is probably an opportunity to start anew with this topic, because I know I've been talking about it for 3 years, that we need to address these, some of these businesses and how they respond to customers, including myself and others that have walked in. So I think it's a great idea and opportunity for us this committee to sort of, lead the way. And we had Angela Fernandez, who came in and gave a presentation about the commercial, about the law and how it applies to on the side of the commercial side as well, that they also must abide by civil rights laws and things like that. And so that in the reverse as you know. So I thought that was an interesting presentation that she gave last year, I believe it was. Yeah. And so yeah, I think that is definitely something we need to talk about because you know, as this community goes through its transitions and things like that, I think it's going to be very important that the business owners are able to accommodate all of their customers, no matter who they are, and it's going to be really critical. Everybody needs every dollar they can get. Money is green. So yeah, I think that would be a great thing for us to do. And I also wanted to find out if we are still planning on doing what you talk about, Domingo, with the real retailers, like sort of having different segments of the types of businesses come in, and if that was something that was also that you wanted to still pursue.
It's a main priority, but I think what would help us expand our outreach is the thought partners, bringing in some of the key stakeholders. I feel like what we've been doing is great, but sharing is caring, right? So why make our lives more difficult when there are organizations already working with particular sectors and it's just a matter of cross collaboration? Like one thing that we could take away from COVID is we weathered the storm together, not fragmented, So I think that's going to be extremely important for us to move forward. And that's why I honestly had to take a step back. It was good intentioned, but I feel we were running when in reality we should have been building. Let's build a stronger relationship with Claude. Let's build stronger relationship with the Chamber of Commerce's within the community. And let's show the community that we're together. So when the resources go out, it's seamless, not just, this is coming. Because a lot of the concerns that a lot of these businesses are raising is this person is telling me this, but by the time it got over here, the conversation is totally different. So it's like, how can we streamline a lot of these communications so that we reduce the level of confusion? And in confusion, if we understand the criminal element, there's opportunity and people can be taken advantage of just because of that. So.
Oh, Domingo, one more thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just had something came to me. Remember when Jennifer Wilson came, gave her presentation? One of the things that I was thinking about is how do we incorporate more of Lower Washington Heights, those businesses, because she was expressing that they felt left out and they didn't really have a voice. Is there a way to do something specific, maybe
and that's
targeted for Lower Washington?
Good intentions, right? We were running. We thought we were doing a great job. We reached out to 200 plus businesses but guess what? We forgot a sector. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's like, we need to really take a step back, reassess it, and do it more. Because if Cloth would have been more involved, guess what? There might have been more marketing going towards these. But then again, right? They were going through a transition with Jacqueline that maybe, but it's like, when we streamline communication, it's like it would have been as simple as sending Yvonne a flyer and she would have made sure that it got to the person you needed to get to. So that's why I felt like we were running. And when you run, usually a lot of these little micro issues pop up. The intention is good, but we're not really addressing the problem. And that's what I'm trying to get to, So that's why it's like, Wayne?
Yeah, that's an interesting point you made about Cloth, because I worked with them several years ago on a proposal to build a Lower Washington Heights bid. So they probably have lots of contacts with retail businesses, and I think it went from 155th, came all the way up to 178th. And prior to that effort, they worked on a study where they were looking at both Broadway and Amsterdam Avenue. So they probably are a good source of information for, merchants in that Lower Washington Heights area, broadly speaking.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, agreed. The problem was that Jacqueline, the grant had finished. Tanya, what was it? There was a grant that they had. So the
Avenue NYC.
What was it?
Avenue NYC.
So once that grant finished, there was a transition period where there was a vote. Like we have a pretty good relationship, so it didn't really impact it. It's just that, like Tanya said, there has to be more focus on Washington Heights and not just upper middle Washington Heights as a.
Yep, absolutely.
That's why even though it was well intentioned and on the initiatives we were doing, it just felt like we were running and not necessarily addressing the problem as a whole. So sometimes you drop things when you're going fast. So that's why the thought partner meeting is the goal moving forward. Did that answer your question, Tanya?
Oh yeah, I did. I'm glad to, we have a plan to do that. So like I said, I think this committee here, the configuration is an opportunity for us to really pursue some of these things. Thank you.
And really address some of the turbulence within the community. A lot of the anything else? Going once, twice. Could I hear the motion, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, we have cloth. We have cloth here. Just so you know, L'Oreal is in the.
L'Oreal's here. So
yeah, I just didn't want you. I know she may have something.
Let's finish off with her present with any announcements she might have, and we're calling it after that. All right. Hey, L'Oreal, you hear us?
Yes. How are you?
Yeah. So, are there any announcements?
We do have a couple events coming up in respect to the community. So this coming Friday, we have a virtual book club with Sisters Uptown, which is the only Black woman-owned independent bookstore. It will be at 6 o'clock. And if folks are interested, I'm happy to send the information. Again, it's the last book club. Saturday, we have the Deck the Malls event, which we are actually keeping a very close eye on the weather. So at the moment, the weather is 80% rain. So we may have to downsize the event with pending the weather. And I'm not sure if Tanya wanted to speak on what the additional part of the Deck the Malls event would be. It will be from 10 to 4 p.m. At the Ilka Tanya Payan Park. And again, weather pending, we will also have the tree lighting event from 3 to 4 p.m.
Yes, L'Oreal. Yeah, thank you. I was going to mention that we were, Senator Robert Jackson stepped up, actually wanted to do our proclamation that we originally weren't able to do. So Senator Robert Jackson is going to do that at this event. Hopefully everything works out, and it's kind of has a fast turnaround.
Yeah,
but very fast. But so we're really honored that someone stepped up to say, we want to honor our businesses, and they're going to do that at the event as well. So and that came out of this committee. So
and Wayne,
it's a good thing.
Wayne did some edits.
Oh yeah, he did, and I corrected it, and I sent it over to the office. So thank you for that. All that was excellent. Thank you, Wayne.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So L'Oreal. So as you heard, we'll stay in communication. And next month is where we want to be able to have a good thought partner meeting. So anybody you have in mind, just email us, and we'll make sure that
absolutely
they get the proper invitation.
Yes. And I'll make sure that everyone has my email should any of you ever need to contact me. And also, hopefully, a couple folks can come out on Saturday. Would love to see your faces and meet folks rather than on Zoom.
All right, perfect.
So thank you very much.
Now, Nobles, I heard you were saying something.
Sure. Motion to adjourn.
Wait. We have a comment or a question in our with Jesse Henshaw, I think, as a question.
Okay. I'm listening in, interested in finding out what the status and plan are for the new building above Associate Grocery at Fort Washington, and when I'm personally not familiar with what's going on above the Associate in 187 in Fort Washington.
There's something going on over there that's on my block.
I haven't heard of anything personally.
Me neither.
I believe I gave talking permission to Jesse Henshaw. I'm gonna try it again, see if it works.
All right, how are we now?
You hear us, Jesse?
Hey,
I
Jesse.
hear you.
Okay. Hey, how's it going? So what's going on?
Oh, well, there's new foundations have been built underneath the supermarket for a tall building on top, and there's 7 storefronts vacant in the neighborhood. It's a tiny little commercial center, so it's a third of the storefronts are vacant, and so I'm wondering what the hell is going on. You know, and partly it's Vicky's Diner was a real stalwart place, real center for the community, and she got a sharp rent increase in the middle of the pandemic, and she had to close.
Domingo, do you mind if I tackle these? Because I live on that block.
Sure. Go ahead, Nobles.
Cool.
And is Wayne still here? Because usually.
Yeah, Wayne's still here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Have you heard anything, Wayne, on any construction on 187 in Fort Washington?
Well, I think Nobles is first.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Thanks, but definitely jump in because I'll tackle that first. Hey, Jesse, thanks. Because I also saw the scaffolding up on the stairway down to Bennett, I believe. I thought that was routine maintenance on the pillar system for Associated, not necessarily to strengthen it for any kind of additional levels. Did you see something on that?
Well, that's what I've been told. There have been rumors for a couple of years, and some of them pretty solid.
Then that's Wayne's department then, because that's land use. Have you heard anything, Wayne?
Well, I haven't, but it's not necessarily land use if a project does not require any discretionary actions. But, you know, there are 2 things that, you know, can and should be done. You know, Ebenezer or someone in the office can be asked to, you know, reach out to the owner and get information, the extent to which it's available, on what's going on. But you could also go to the building department's website and put in the block and lot number.
Yeah, I did that.
And what does it show?
Nothing.
Right. So, I mean, you know, sometimes, you know, the rumors are just that. If there's a building that's going up, the building would have to have an approved permit or at least something filed for review.
Right.
Well, there should be something somewhere, but I'd like to, because I'm concerned that the landlords of the neighborhood are shutting down a lot of businesses.
So to that second point, I can actually tackle that. You're completely correct. I mean, it's heartbreaking to see what's going on in 187th here. Look, I mean, one of the things that in the state legislature, and Wayne, you probably know a bit more about this than I do.
You were coming in and out. You lagged out for a bit.
Oh man, I probably have bad. Do I have bad connection right now? Wayne, do you mind talking about some of the loopholes that they're trying to close from a legislative perspective?
I'm actually not that familiar. I'm actually not that familiar with what they're doing.
Hey, Nobles, so what we could do is, Jesse, do you have an email? Could you send it as a question?
Sure.
Yeah, just send, and Nobles is having connections issues right now. He'll be sure to stay in communication.
Can you guys hear me better? I'm moving closer to my wireless hub.
It's a damn shame that you got to do it.
No. Yeah. Can you hear me better?
Yeah. I like that plant.
Okay. So I do what I can, brother. So Jesse, the state legislature is working on some legislation right now where it makes it more financially taxing to have an empty storefront. What's going on right now is they're jacking up the prices, keeping the storefronts open so they can write off more in a tough year. That's what's going on.
Okay.
And that's what it's a freaking shame. It honestly breaks.
So there is a tax
everywhere.
write-off deal.
Right. And so
That was another rumor I was
Yeah,
following.
it's a profit loss.
it's a profit loss, correct?
Yeah, So
Right.
technically, a corporation could write off a loss
Yep.
for 20 years. That's what a lot of these.
Yep. So from a
Debate.
nonpartisan perspective here, one of the things that they're working on in the legislature is to close that loophole. Now that there is going to be a supermajority of Democrats in the legislature, that was one of their priorities this year. So I wouldn't be surprised if it came back next year, because you know how real estate has a lot of ties in, but it's kind of come back. And now that we have a supermajority, it might be a different dynamic next year. But unfortunately, it's not going to be able to do anything for the businesses that we lost.
Yeah. So Jesse, Nobles, his email is in the chat, and Nobles he'll get you the accurate information.
Yeah, I'll put you in touch with one of the policy directors that are currently writing it, so you can talk to them and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
I have one last question. I swear to you, I'm done.
Wait, Jesse, is that it?
Yeah, Rose.
All right. Thank you.
There's a commercial building being built on Broadway, close to Dykeman, over where the library was and the car wash used to be at.
That's the inward rezoning. That's gonna be a library and affordable housing.
But there's also a commercial building right next to that affordable housing. Does anyone know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do? Was that something that was already covered in our committee or not?
No, I would say that it was last year, Wayne, right? That was
Well, no, this is next door to that building. This is
I don't know.
the car wash site.
Yeah.
And my understanding is it's a commercial office building.
So two things. One, is it true that they're taking the school's teachers' parking lot to build that?
I don't have the details on the project. So once again, that's something where, Ebenezer can look into and get the details. When you say, are they taking, if the parking lot that was being used was part of the private property that belonged to the gas station, then they're not taking it. They're using their own property.
Yeah.
So we need to look into who owned what.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, no, because if it's a commercial that kind of falls in line with business development, I just want to know if we can get on that and help any upcoming small business people that want to need a office space or anything, that we can be able to, send them there. I just wanted to get more information, but okay.
All right, cool. So we'll reach out to let's talk offline and reach out to Ebenezer with your questions. All right. There's a motion on the floor.
I second it.
Really quick before I bring that motion back up one more time. Domingo, I sent you the minutes just now. Would you mind just putting in the agenda recommendation that you did? Because
Okay,
I got everything. I got literally everything else.
Yeah, I told you it was going to be this movie.
Cool. Yeah. So I sent you the minutes, and with that, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Anybody opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous. Thank you for your holidays. I'll see you at then. In a week or two, I guess.
Yep.
All right.
All right, y'all. Take it easy.
Take care.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Lively group.